Okay, so a few of you have been asking me for a video about my favorite PlayStation or gaming protagonists for quite a while. And I have to say, now that I've come around to doing this sort of video, this is probably one of the hardest ones I've done, just because there are so many iconic characters. So in this video, we are going to run through my top gaming protagonists of all time. FYI, with the characters I am mentioning, there are going to be spoilers for that game or games that they've been in. I'm just warning you, there will be spoilers. This is your warning. But before we do, I just need to go in there, get some breakfast.
So,
What the? What are you doing here?
we are hoping to be in this video. I think we should.
What is going on?
Did you see me in Spider-Man 2?
I moved here for a reason? Not for you guys to follow.
Better than Peter. That wastes the space.
Yeah, weak ass men. Step up.
You can't even afford to pay the mortgage.
I reckon we're going to be in the top 5. Easy.
Where are you? Well, I have to say, your arms are looking very big.
Well, thank you. I've been practicing my golf swing. Still hungry.
Now I'm going back a hell of a long time with this, and we're going back to Assassin's Creed Ezio Auditore, one of the most amazing Assassin's Creed characters. All I remember thinking as a kid, how cool Ezio was. He was just that typical extravagant Italian man. He always basically got the girls, really. And as a 15-year-old boy, I was like, man, wouldn't mind beating him when I'm older.
I'm Ezio.
Looks like you got yourself a second chance.
He was getting himself in trouble as a young man, but then his father and brothers get killed, and he has so much ambition and drive to make a difference. But I love the way before his father dies, he tells him about the outfit, which is his Assassin's Creed outfit. And I just love the way he was so brutally motivated by revenge.
Take our lives this day, but we will have yours in return, I swear! We will!
I understand your desire for vengeance, but the Gonfaloniere is a powerful man.
You just see his character change. He becomes such a clever man. He learns so much from different characters. He gets different weapons. But the more and more he kills, he starts to realize that killing is not going to make him feel any different. It's not going to bring his father and his brothers back. I can't really remember the game. All I remember is when he's talking to that prophet. I can't remember the person he's talking to. And the prophet I think it's the prophet. And the prophet speaks back to him.
The rest is up to you.
What? Who is Desmond?
I just remember thinking how clever Ezio was. From that moment, he realized that what if Desmond in the future is somehow watching this, which obviously he was by being in the Animus. He was kind of speaking to Desmond, and it blew my mind how clever he was.
I have seen enough for one life. Desmond?
He's talking to me?
Now, number 14, when I started playing Star Wars Fallen Order, I didn't know how I would feel about these games, mainly because I've only watched the first Star Wars film and I just haven't seen any of the films.
You piece of shit.
Thank you. Would I be able to connect with the story and the character of Cal Kestis? By the end of the game, I remember Cal just being fully invested in fighting against the Empire. But at the start of the game, he was kind of reluctant to be a hero.
Our mistakes are in the past. And it's all of our responsibility, and it's about what we do next that's important. You taught me that, Seer.
Now, during the follow-up game is 5 years later, and apart from all the damn bugs, I freaking loved that game. The more and more powerful Cal became, I was thinking, my gosh, is he going to turn evil? Is all of this going to get too much, and he's never going to know a life without killing?
Go on, Jedi. Do it! Do it! Rather you than Lord Vader.
Who is this?
He sent boat after our team.
When it came down to it, he knew the goal and he knew the odds were so high. He even knew that the Empire was so freaking strong that there might not have been a chance for them to win. He never gave up. He was the leader. He had so much courage to do what is necessary. And he just found a way to carry on, even when his best friend betrayed him at the end. And I was pretty heartbroken because I really liked that character. I couldn't believe that he was working for the Empire. I'm looking forward to seeing what they bring with the third game. Hopefully no damn bugs. Now, at number 13, Peter Parker is next on this list. If we're just talking about the first game, he would have definitely been higher on this list. But my gosh, Peter in that first game, he had so much struggle and so much responsibility for such a young kid. He was helping his aunt out at the shelter. He was trying to rebuild his relationship with MJ, and I just felt so sorry for him. By the end of the game, my gosh, what a decision he had to make. He had the antidote. He could have saved her, but he knew he had to save the entire city, and that was heartbreaking.
Take off your mask. I want to see my nephew. I've known for a while.
Not this one.
I did.
This one.
And I'm so proud of you.
I built that love for that character based off the first damn face model. I played it on PS4. I got used to it. Once you build that relationship with that character, it's very hard to just give them a completely different face. And then all of a sudden, you're like, no, this is the new face. I always preferred the original. I don't know about you guys, but that was the start. So when I did get to Spider-Man 2, it just felt very weird that this was Peter Parker. And with the second game, the way they basically nerfed this flipping character. How many years was Peter Parker being Spider-Man? And it felt like it was so deliberate how he was making so many mistakes. The amount of times Miles, who's been doing it a lot shorter than him, literally had to save him. And in the end, the way he was treated by MJ, even though I know she was taking over, but you know,
Going on about how we can't pay the damn mortgage.
he's still up there as one of my favorites, even though I prefer the first game. What do you guys think? Now, in number 12, you might find this weird. A Plague Tale, Amicia de Rune. These were some of the best games I've played in recent years. Those games were unbelievable. And the character Amicia, she was such a good character. Now, the first game, she goes through such a journey from living with her family to seeing parts of her family die. And now she must do whatever she can to protect her brother. She's so innocent. She's a kid.
It's me. Your sister? Amicia?
And when they have to flee their home, her family die, the most heartbreaking moment for me is where she kind of lost her innocence in a way. She lost herself being a child when she had to kill for the first time.
Amicia. You killed him.
As you get to the second game, the transformation is crazy because she essentially trains herself to become a killer. She's been forced to change as a person and she's become so badass, but also she's still the same person as she was before. And I think that's partly because of her brother. She became like this because she had to protect her brother. He has some sort of gift that people are after him. She's become a killer, yes, but her brother Hugo is the only thing that is keeping her back to who she really is. She kind of knows that he is my younger brother and he's just a kid. He wants to be a kid, and without him there, it would just cause her to go full on killing mode and just lose herself completely. Now, in number 11, some of you will definitely disagree with me, but Deacon St. John is up there as one of my favorite characters. I understand. At first, I didn't really like Deacon. Sometimes throughout the game, you think, stop being an idiot. The guy has been through so much with the outbreak and then losing his wife.
I guess it's kind of pointless to say anything since I know that you didn't die out here.
I like him so much because of the journey he goes through in the game. He kind of becomes a bit numb towards people. He doesn't really show emotion or compassion. He just gets on with it. That's why he comes across a little bit as a dick. But because he feels like he's lost everything in this world, that's the reason why he's like that. And during that time where he thinks he's lost his wife, the world is horrible. He knows people kill. He essentially knows that he has to become the killer as well. It's a brutal world. You're not going to like who you're going to become if you have to survive in a world like this. And similar to Joel, you understand why he's become the way he has. He's a cool bike rider, usually can't control his emotions. He's very sporadic, but it made me want to know more about this character. And by the end of the game, he finds obviously his wife. He manages to move on and restore order in some of the camps, and he never once lets anything get to his head. He never wants to be that leader. He can't even do a speech.
I know we got a lot of rebuilding to do, so I'm gonna keep this short.
It just made me think that he was always willing to do what other people were not willing to do. He had to kill, he had to do things to survive and help people. He just had that horrible side to him which the world forced him to be, and that is why I love him as a character. Because not necessarily that I like him all the time, is that I understand. And if only there was a Days Gone 2, maybe we might see a continuation or a complete story arc of this character.
Sony.
Computer says nah.
So now we're into the top 10, and this was very, very hard thinking of these characters. Zack Fair from Final Fantasy Crisis Core. At first, I didn't like Zack. I thought he was a bit goofy. I thought he was just a kid who just didn't take anything really seriously. Oh, I want to be a hero and I want to do this, and he was just so sporadic. It just made me not like him.
For real.
Awesome! We're gonna fail!
But by the end of the game, I just had a complete U-turn with Zack. When Sephiroth turned his back and just completely changed, he did everything in his power to stop him. And what makes it so sad is the ending of Crisis Core. I will never forget how at the time he's trying to help Cloud and he's doing everything he can to save his friend, and Cloud, he's got Mako poisoning, hence why he can't move. But by the end of the game, he does everything he can to save Cloud. He eliminates a shitload of enemies and soldiers, and he gives him his Buster Sword. And that ending I will never forget, having tears in my damn eyes and thinking, you are a hero, Zack. You are one of the best characters.
You're gonna live. You'll be my living legacy. My honor. My dreams. They're yours now.
In number 9, we are moving over to Geralt of Rivia. One of the most badass characters in a video game. Great hair as well. His voice, his persona, the way he talks, the way he plans, he's so damn confident, and he knows he's just there to do a job. And even though he is a Witcher, and a lot of people say they have no passion because of the transformation they have to go to, and that's totally understandable, that is why they just don't really feel their emotions, Geralt is still a bit different. No matter what, he still has that soft side because of his love for Ciri, because he basically brought her up. So for me, he's still part human because he wants to protect Ciri, and he will travel across the world to just find her and protect her. And I just love that about the game. He was always doing his best for Ciri. He would always step up as he is. You know, he's a Witcher, he's powerful. By the end of the game of The Witcher 3, I remember feeling so sad. When the game ends at Kaer Morhen, he is literally on his own in that massive flipping castle. Some witches are dead, like I said, the people have moved on, and I just found it so sad that he's always basically on his own. He's just such a cool freaking character, and I know that the next entry into the Witcher series may not be Geralt because his story arc is over. I would happily play as him again because of modern controls, modern graphics. I would love to play as him in a brand new game. It looks like we're not. That's why he's up here as one of my favorite. In number 8, we have Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII Remake and 7 Rebirth. I freaking love Cloud as a flipping character. I've got him as my flipping wallpaper on my phone. In 7 Remake, he's so emotionless to all of these characters, but he's such an amazing soldier. Even though he doesn't say much, he's a bit awkward, he just steps up to the plate, and everyone just freaking likes him. They just like him because, actually, he's just, I think it's just so cool.
You really hear that?
Damn straight I do!
Get help.
I just love how his character develops, because obviously he's affected by the Mako poison and he's forgotten a lot of his past. Deep down, he cares for the people that he's bonded with. He cares for Tifa, obviously, and I hope he's with her.
Getting ahead of myself again.
Not one bit.
He cares for Aerith, and he cares for these characters so much because he knows what Sephiroth is like. I just love the way he is trying to do the right thing. He's trying to just stop Sephiroth and save the world, essentially. Even though he's starting to remember things now, he's still an emotionless character. He's slowly opening up. Now in number 7, we have Arthur Morgan, and a lot of people may be thinking, my gosh, how is he not number 1?
What?
At the start of the game, I didn't really like him at the start. I don't know why. I just didn't really feel that connection. I was just like, okay, yeah, he's a cool character. Well, you can choose how he can be. He could be a totally badass and antagonize everyone.
So, you heard anything about any bounty hunters in these parts?
I couldn't say.
Well, thanks for nothing, idiot.
Or you can try and be nice and do the right thing.
You're doing a great job. Must be fun being the town idiot. You got any idea who you're flapping your gums at?
By the end of the game, you see his character change. You start to realize that he is a good person deep down, despite all the killing. What makes it even more sad is when he does get sick, he knows his time is limited and he still tries to do the right thing, or I tried to do the right thing for Arthur. And at the end of the game where you have a particular choice to make in regards to John, and I wanted to do the right thing, it just made me so sad. I think it's the way his story arc ends. That's what makes it so sad. All of the memories you've built up with all of these characters, all of the people that he's seen die, and now it's coming to an end for him. It made me so sad. No matter what with Arthur Morgan, as bad as he was, he always tried to do the right thing. He always tried to be there for everyone. Even with all the side missions and anyone that needed help, he would always try and step up and be there. We played it on stream and I remember being so emotional, thinking, my gosh, this is one of the best games I've played. Now in number 6, some of you might be surprised, Clive Rosfield from Final Fantasy 16. Clive Rosfield is one of my favorite freaking characters. This is one of the best story-driven games I've played. As a character, Clive Rosfield is a flipping badass. Now at the start of the game, you see him as he is as a child. He's there for his younger brother. You find out that his brother's been killed. He is motivated by vengeance, by revenge. He wants to know what happened, and the twists and turns in Final Fantasy 16 is unbelievable. He basically realizes he is so powerful. He realizes he was the one who killed his brother, even though he didn't. He realizes he is so flipping powerful.
No escape, eh? It's all right. I'm done running from you. It's time to find out who we are, once and for all. Show yourself. You're free.
You realize that the person or the god that created them wants his vessel, wants his body. His body is powerful enough to have basically hold all power. The journey he goes on, he always puts everyone else first. He doesn't necessarily think he can step up, but then he does. With his mentor, I've forgotten his name, he always tries to nurture him and teach him. The journey by the end of the game where no matter how powerful Clive Rosfield gets, he always is trying to do the right thing. And at the ending is one of the most emotional scenes because he still tries to do the right thing, even though it will mean he might not be there. His voice, his compassion for other people, I just think he's just such a badass character. My gosh, you need to play this game. And number 5, we have Ellie Williams. I didn't realize that's her last name. Ellie from The Last of Us. And I'm mainly talking about The Last of Us Part 1. Ellie is one of the best characters, not that I've played with, because you don't really play as her apart from Part 2. She was a kid and she's brought up in this pandemic. Throughout the game, all she wants is someone to be there for her. She attaches herself to, I've forgotten, the Firefly lady who knew her mum. When she realizes she's going to be passed on to Joel, she didn't want to go because people are always leaving her.
I want Joel to watch over her.
Whoa, I don't think that's
Bullshit,
the
I'm not
best
Ellie.
idea.
Him.
Yeah, she's outspoken, she's brave, she doesn't listen sometimes, but she does what she thinks she has to do. And I think with Joel, it just made her an even better character. It gave her that security that she needed. She never once had that father figure in her life. And I feel like with Joel, it just brought out the kid in her again. She needed that protection and she's been through so much. The fact that she was able to be there for Joel as well. She realizes that Joel needs her too. He lost his daughter. She's never had a family before. Near the end of the game where she's like, let's go to the fire fireflies. Let's see what happens and we can do whatever you want to do. She knows that she's there for Joel as well. With The Last of Us Part 2, did I like her any less? A little bit, mainly because of the way she treated Joel. I don't like the way it ended. I just don't like that game overall, but I still loved her as a character. No matter what, she's got so much trauma that how does she even deal with anything? How does she even have the motivation to carry on? And I just think, oh man, I wish they changed The Last of Us Part 2 a little bit differently. No matter what, Ellie is still up there as one of the best characters in PlayStation's history. In number 4, we have Jin Sakai of Ghost of Tsushima. I mean, Ghost of Yotai. Oh wait, he's not gonna be there. Ghost of Tsushima is one of my favorite PlayStation games. This game and Jin Sakai goes through an incredible story arc. He wants to be a samurai. He is taught by his uncle about honor, not killing people behind their backs, always facing their opponent. His uncle gets kidnapped, he nearly dies, and he realizes that everything he's known, he has to change in order to save his people and his land. And that's what's even more upsetting about this character. He has to stop being a samurai because it's not working. And I love the way that he doesn't care what people think of him. He doesn't care what his uncle thinks of him, even when he turns against him and he's going to go to prison or he wants him dead. He's become a thief, he has become a killer, and he's become the ghost.
I can find a way past the bridge. Poison the enemy.
An act of terror.
I am trying to save our people.
By teaching them to fear us. If you continue down this path, you will be no better than the Mongols. I trained you to fight with honor.
Honor died on the beach.
He has such calmness in his thinking. The way he thinks about everything. Even though he realizes he has to become a thief and a killer, he never once loses his mind. He's so clever in what he plans. It just made me sad at the end of the game where he's basically on the run. And I know there's multiple choices at the end of the game. Depending on what one you pick, you can choose to go against your uncle or do what a samurai is supposed to do.
The ghost was an outlaw. He taught our people to defy their leaders.
To defend themselves.
With poison. A gift you gave to our enemy.
I had to stop you from throwing away our people's lives.
You have no honor.
And you are a slave to it.
And at the end of the game, he's on the run. And I just loved the way that game ended. I really do wish there was another game with him. I felt like there was more story to tell with Jin Sakai. Obviously not. We're going to have to see if Ghost of Yotai works. In number 3, you might recognize this music. Nathan Drake. My God, he is so damn cool. This was basically my childhood when I was in secondary school. Uncharted is one of my favorite gaming franchises. It's so over the top. Nathan Drake is such a flipping cool character. The amount of stuff he gets himself into and he somehow survives. The guy is just motivated to just achieve something. He wants to be a go-getter. I want to explore. I want to take risks. He doesn't really think sometimes.
It's as good as ours. Shit. It's not what it looks like.
Really?
But he just wants to find the treasure. He's just so motivated by exploration. If something might be true, El Dorado or whatever he's thinking, I'm going for it. I don't care how big the job is. Uncharted 4 is one of the most amazing games, and I'm glad it ended the way it did, and he gets the ending he deserves. He was in an orphanage. His brother was never really there. He was trying to provide and get money, so he's never had any security in his life. With each game, there was nothing I didn't like about Nathan Drake. He was just that guy. He always won. Now in number 2, we have Joel Miller. And I think you guys know how much I freaking love this character. Joel is one of my favorite characters of all time, and this is why this was so hard to choose from. I cannot express the feeling I have for Joel. Instantly from the start, when first playing that game, you relate to him. He loses his freaking daughter. Now I felt it, I cried, and that was so early on in the game. When it fast forwards 20 years, you understand why he is so cold. You understand why he shuts his emotions out. You realize even with Tess, when she gets bitten, I assume they're together. He doesn't feel anything in a way. He just blocks it out. He just gets on with it.
Oh, Christ.
Oops, right? They're here.
Damn it.
I can buy you some time, but you have to run.
No, just go! Just fucking go.
The world has treated him like absolute shit. He doesn't expect anything more from anyone again. And when he meets Ellie, that little girl, it all changes. And for the gamers playing as him, you start to see the relationship blossom into what him and his daughter should have had. And after taking responsibility of Ellie, the ending is still so debatable. Is it the right decision? Probably not. But do you understand why he does that? Yes. Does he deserve it? Yeah, he freaking does, because the world has given him nothing. The world is so brutal. And the fact that Ellie's going to die and he's going to lose another daughter, it's in his hands and he cannot let that go again. He learns to become a father to Ellie and he wants to protect her. But then at the same time, there's that other side to Joel where he is an absolute brutal killer.
Is she alive? What girl? I don't know no girl.
Fuck!
Focus right here, right here. Now you're gonna mark it on the map. And it better be the same exact spot your buddy points to.
Fuck you, man. He told you what you wanted. I ain't telling you shit.
That's all right. I believe him.
No, wait!
There's no one good in this world. What he did at the end, who is good in this game? It's definitely not that man with the 20-inch arms.
Oh, come on then, small boy.
Get out of my house.
I'm gonna thump you.
Oh, you want some, do you?
Okay, let's go.
You now. Oh, I'll show you.
Look how smooth those arms
Okay,
are.
yeah, you got me. Ow, ow. Oh, God, Jesus, Jesus. Ow. Oh, my God, face.
Yeah, you walk away.
Yeah, well, that didn't go to plan. Now in number one, you could probably guess who it is. It was very hard to think of this, but I have to say, Kratos is my current favorite PlayStation character of all time. I freaking loved those games. Kratos is an unbelievable character. Now, I never played the first three. I have an idea of how he was before, how brutal he was. I only know him as the compassionate father who is trying to do the right thing from 2018. He's trying to be a different person. He's trying to learn from his mistakes, and he's trying to bring out Atreus to not be like him, to not become a killer, to realize that killing doesn't actually solve anything. He only does it when he has to.
You killed against my wishes. You lost control.
Haven't you been teaching me to kill?
I've been teaching you to survive.
The way he spoke with such presence, he always refrained from being that killer he was. It's amazing how Atreus saw that he was so strong and didn't understand why he just doesn't use his powers and we're gods and we should act like gods. He's done it before and it gets him nowhere. It got him nowhere. It brought him no satisfaction. And with God of War Ragnarok, I loved that game. And the way he had to step up to the plate against Thor, he only wanted to fight when it was necessary. He only wanted to do it when he absolutely had to. Kratos was following Atreus' move. He realizes, I'm here for my son. I'm not doing this for myself. The prophecy saying that he might die, he never once believed it. He never once believed the prophets were true. And I just love the way he always said, they create their own destiny. He learned so much off his dad, and by the end of it, it was sad to see Atreus leave. I really freaking hope there is another game with Kratos. I don't want to play as Atreus personally, and that is probably why he is my favorite freaking character. Kratos is just such a badass, man. I will need to play that game again. I need to play them all again. I want to know your thoughts on my favorite gaming protagonist. Remember, everyone's going to be different, so don't go mental, but make sure you comment below your top 10 gaming protagonists of all time, because I want to know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comments and let me know. Well, let's take a look at the comment of the day from my previous video. 20 single player games coming in 2025. Shout out to Jamie Fletcher. I really hope Marvel's Wolverine or even that rumored Venom game comes out next year. Thank you for the comment, Jamie. I really appreciate it. Even though we have heard leaks about a Venom game, Wolverine has still got nothing announced. It's very confusing how long it's taken for these flipping games to get announced. I just don't understand what is taking it so damn long. But I really hope next year we get a Venom game. I think I would be excited for a Venom game, even though there's not going to be any DLC to Spider-Man 2. I don't mind it. I'd rather they just get on with what they're supposed to, because I feel like that game wasn't as good as the first one. With Wolverine, I want to know more about that flipping game. Why announce it that flipping early? That's what I don't get. Hopefully that Venom game and Wolverine game is coming. 2025 is looking like an exciting year for gaming, so it's going to be tough. Goodbye.